Well, here we are again, back in the car, and I'm going to give you a quick review, a quick run-through of the Seicane Android head unit I installed in a previous video. I've been using it for a couple of weeks, I've gotten to know it, and I'm really impressed with it so far. So when you first turn the ignition on, you get a warning to check your audio system. This happens every time you turn the ignition on, and it's also the only nag you'll get about it. The reason is that not everything is plugged in to the Seicane head unit that is plugged into the stock head unit. So it detects a problem and tells you, but that's all it's going to bother you about it. Now, one important thing to note about the Seicane head unit is, as designed, it does not have a CD player, and it also does not support XM satellite radio that comes with the WRX. However, as a commenter posted on my install video, which, you can download the SiriusXM app, and you can stream your satellite radio that way through your data connection. You can't grab it from the satellite, so you're still reliant on that data connection to get your XM radio, but you can listen to it. So as you can see, there are many displays available on the very front screen of the head unit. You've got date and the clock here, and a radio here, and you can select 6 icons to display on the very front page. And there are many screens of icons available. You can use this to program steering wheel buttons. The amplifier is a nice graphic equalizer. You can put your Gmail on here if you really want to. There are also 5 buttons off to the side here for power, home, back, and volume up and down. And a number of icons up on the top. You Android people will probably recognize a bunch of them. But at the moment, I can see that I have GPS, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and my Obd2 adapter is also connected. The AM/FM radio works pretty well. You can just click here to get to it. And it's cranking Zeppelin. Well, I got the volume turned down so I don't get any copyright strikes. But as you can see, it shows the name of the band and the song. This is on 107.3 WAAF Boston, though it's not showing that right now. You can search for stations, you can select AM, FM, local, or distant, and you can scroll through frequencies or your presets. You can click up here to pick any frequency you feel like, and literally use your finger to tune it. So there are many different settings available. As you can see right now, the Wi-Fi is connected to my iPhone, and which I'm using as a personal hotspot. This is how the head unit gets internet access. It goes through my phone and then out to cellular. It is also connected to my phone on Bluetooth, which I can use to make phone calls, or I can go through contacts and go from there. Please forgive the dirty car. It's winter and keeping it clean is impossible. There is a separate microphone that plugs directly into the head unit. I stashed that back here out of sight on the top of the steering wheel surround. And it seems to work fine. I am told it sounds pretty good, just as good as the one that's built into the WRX, so no complaints there. And of course, when you're on a phone call, the sound from the other end gets piped through your car speakers, so that sounds quite good too. You can also stream music straight from your phone using anything. As you can see, I have an iPhone, and this is an Android, but they still play nicely together. All you do is you hit A2DP. I'm not sure what that stands for, but that brings up Bluetooth. To at least set it up, I can go into my music, library, artists. Let's get us some Mighty Car Mods action going here, because I know they don't mind if you use their music a little bit. And steering controls also work. And you can skip tracks. It's a kind of a rudimentary system, but this way on my iPhone I can still listen to my music I have stored on here through the head unit. And that goes for any other Bluetooth device you have. You can stream anything you want, basically. And one of my favorite options for music, of course, is Pandora. But here you can see all of the familiar Pandora controls. Shows the album cover. You got your thumbs up and down, which do work. Pause, skip, and replay if that's an option. All of the normal Pandora functionality works, because it'll download all of your stations that you've programmed, and it's pretty cool. Now moving on to my personal favorite aspect of this entire system, Waze. Now Waze does not come preloaded on here. Google Maps does, and Google Maps is good. I have no complaints about it. But since I'm a Waze user, that was one of the first apps I downloaded on here. And one of the big advantages is, since this is an Android, you can run anything on here. It's not like Android Auto where there are only certain apps that are approved. Waze is one that is now Android Auto compatible, but it's not the same as just being able to run it. So let's say I wanted to go up to Casey's Rib Shack, because them's good eating. It would do that. I can look at multiple routes. Again, this is all coming through data from my phone. Let's pick that route. And away we go. Now I do have an Obd2 adapter plugged in that connects to this over Bluetooth. And you can even see that little OBD icon there, which means that the head unit is connected to my car's ECU. You can configure the gauges and torque to monitor any parameter you want that's available through the car's Obd2 system. You swipe up, and there's a great big tachometer, which I suppose would be pretty useful if you were drag racing. Vroom. Here I've set up a couple of voltmeters to keep an eye on the voltage coming out of the battery, both from the ECU as well as at the Obd2 unit itself. Why? Because I might have killed my battery working radio at a rally once and needed a jump start, so this way I can keep an eye on it and make sure that doesn't happen again. I set this screen up for use on the track. Two big gauges showing coolant and oil temperature. That way I can keep an eye on my engine's health as I'm driving like a maniac around a racetrack. Speaking of tracks, I can turn anywhere into a racetrack with torque. There are settings where I can monitor my 0 to 60 times, 1/8 mile, 1/4 mile, and even how much horsepower I'm generating. Of course, it only takes 9 horsepower to go down the road at 35 miles an hour. Here you can check on your car's emission system's readiness just like the inspection stations do. You can see everything in green has been run and checks out. If there were any problems, that would show up here. Torque also has a way that you can go read the trouble codes straight from the ECU and reset them. So that's the basics of the Seicane Android head unit. There are many other functions it can do. I only showed you the ones that I use most often or anticipate using, such as the temperature readouts when I go to the track. I don't use those much right now because all it's going to tell me is it's really freaking cold. There are many other apps and many other features available. Pretty much anything you can imagine doing with an Android in a car, you can do with this head unit, which is pretty darn cool. If you are interested in getting this exact stereo, there will be a link in the description below so that you can go look at exactly what I have here and buy it for yourself. However, it's important to note that Seicane does offer Android heading solutions for many different cars. I first found out about this from Tavarish's video, where he got one for his Mercedes SL55, which is almost as different a car for my WRX as you can get. If you do go to buy anything from Seicane's website, be sure to use coupon code JH54. That's Juliet Hotel 54 as your coupon code. That'll get you 5% off, and it'll give me a little kickback as well.